What's good, YouTube? It's your boy, Blue Blood Sports TV, back at y'all with another one. So, you heard Showtime president of sports, Stephen Espinosa. He recently stated that, Stephen Espinosa stated that, Showtime president of sports stated that he don't believe the mega fight that took place July 29th, Las Vegas, Nevada, T-Mobile Arena, between now undefeated three-division world champion, former junior welterweight undisputed world champion, currently the reigning undisputed welterweight world champion, superstar boxer who is widely considered by many to be the #1 best pound-for-pound fighter in the world, and Terrence Bud Crawford, who has a record of 40 wins, no losses, no draw, 31 big wins by way of knockout. He is 35 years of age, 5'8" with a 74-inch arm reach. He dominated the mega fight, the super fight, the undisputed welterweight showdown with counterpart, former unified WBA, WBC, IBF welterweight world champion superstar boxer, who is widely considered at the time, may have dropped now, top 5, if not #2. Some had him #1, pound-for-pound best fighter in the world, in Errol the True Spence Jr. Errol Spence Jr. now has a record of 28 wins, 1 loss, no draws, 22 big wins by way of knockout. He is 33 years of age, 5'9.5" with a 72-inch arm reach. Errol Spence got dominated in that fight. Errol Spence got dropped, in the second round. Then he got dropped twice in the 7th round and stopped in the 9th round. And so he took a extreme beating and a lot of punishment in that fight. Errol Spence immediately stated he wanted to have the rematch immediately in December, right? With Terrence Crawford. And now Stephen Espinosa, he came out. Now, keep in mind, Errol Spence has been suspended. Okay, he's been suspended for 2 months, obviously, for what took place in that fight. He's been suspended for 2 months. And Errol Spence, according to Stephen Espinosa, needs rest. Terrence Crawford said he needs rest. He said, Stephen Espinosa, Terrence Crawford, Errol Spence rematch is not going to take place this year. He stated that, late next year is what Stephen Espinosa stated. And then he stated maybe early next year. And then Stephen Espinosa was asked, so what's next for Terrence Crawford? Because Terrence Crawford didn't take any punishment. And so Terrence Crawford, obviously, he wants to fight. He made it abundantly clear. He wants to face off against 3-time junior middleweight world champion, who's the undisputed junior middleweight world champion, superstar boxer, who is top 5 pound-for-pound best fighters in the world, and Jermell Ironman Charlo, who has a record of 35 wins, 1 loss, 1 draw, 19 wins by way of knockout, 33 years of age, 5'11.5" with a 73.5-inch arm reach. He's daring to be great, Jermell Charlo. He's going to face off against 4-division world champion, Mexican superstar boxer, who currently is the undisputed super middleweight world champion and widely considered the face of the sport of boxing, in Saul Canelo Alvarez, who has a record of 59 wins, 2 losses, 2 draws, 39 big wins by way of knockout. He is 33 years of age, 5'8" with a 70-inch arm reach. They're going to fight September 30th, Las Vegas, Nevada, T-Mobile Arena. So with that said, Terrence Crawford's dream of fighting Jermell Charlo next has took a major hit. Jermell Charlo, the night of September 30th, once he's announced as the undisputed junior middleweight champion, the WBO, World Boxing Organization, has announced that he will be stripped immediately following those words. And Australian undefeated star boxer will be elevated to the WBO champion. So Terrence Crawford wanted to be undisputed in 3 separate weight classes. That's not going to be the case right now. He has some work to do. He's going to have to fight Tim Tszyu. He's going to have to fight Jermell Charlo. Hopefully, Jermell Charlo comes back down from 168 to 154, which is a long shot. So when Stephen Espinosa asks what's next for Terrence Crawford, if Errol Spence is going to be on the shelf till late next year, obviously the question was raised about possibly facing undefeated welterweight superstar title contender Jerron Boots Ennis. Jaron Boots Ennis has a record of 31 wins, no loss and no draw, 28 wins by way of knockout. He is 26 years of age, 5'10" with a 74-inch arm reach. Now, Terrence Crawford recently stated he had no interest in fighting Jermell Charlo, simply because, fighting Jaron Boots Ennis, because Jaron Boots Ennis does nothing for his career right now. Jaron Boots Ennis doesn't elevate his career. It's not a big payday, so he stated that, that's simply a fight right now that's not worth it for him. Stephen Espinosa uttered the same sentiments. Stephen Espinosa stated that in order for Terrence Crawford to garner the money he's looking for, it's going to have to make business sense. So he said that he hasn't spoken to Terrence Crawford yet, but he knows Terrence Crawford wants to stay active. Terrence Crawford wants to fight again. And he stated that, it has to be a fight that makes business sense. That's a huge fight for Stephen Espinosa, he stated, but it doesn't garner the money Terrence Crawford looking for. So what fight would garner the money Terrence Crawford looking for? Well, I have the perfect guy that makes sense. And that's former unified WBC, WBA, welterweight world champion, superstar boxer, Keith one-time Thurman. Keith Thurman is 30 wins, 1 loss, no draw, 22 wins by way of knockout. He is 34 years of age, 5'8" with a 69-inch arm reach. Keith Thurman is relatively inactive, fought 3 times in 6 years, okay? So Keith Thurman is not the most active fighter. But Keith Thurman brings more to the table for Terrence Crawford at this stage in his career than Jaron Boots Ennis as far as selling power. I think Jaron Boots Ennis is a better fighter, competition-wise, right? Keith Thurman only has 1 loss, and that's the legendary 8-division world champion, iconic Filipino superstar boxer, Manny Pac-Man Pacquiao. The problem with Keith Thurman is out of sight, out of mind. He also only fought 3 times in 6 years since unifying the belts against 2-division world champion Puerto Rican superstar boxer Danny Swift Garcia. Since he fought Danny Garcia and, unified the belts in March of 2017, Keith Thurman has been inactive. But as far as selling power, Keith Thurman is going to sell a fight. Keith Thurman is a big draw. He only lost to Manny Pacquiao. He got dropped in the fight, hurt bad in the 10th round. But Keith Thurman, he made that fight a close fight. It ended up being a split decision victory for Manny Pacquiao. It ended up being a close fight. So with that said, okay, Keith Thurman brings the necessary revenue for Terrence Crawford to get the money he's looking for, according to Stephen Espinosa. And it's a pay-per-view fight that you can sell. Keith Thurman is going to sell the fight. And keep in mind, when Terrence Crawford made his debut in 2018 in the welterweight division, fighting then WBO world champion Australian star boxer Jeff Horn, immediately his first fight in the division and stopping Jeff Horn, Terrence Crawford said the man to beat in the division when featured on Max Kellerman and Stephen Espinosa's first take. He stated that the man to beat in division is not Errol Spence because they said it looks like Errol Spence is the man to beat in this division. It looks like that's going to be the super fight. And Terrence Crawford said, well, your eyes are deceiving you. The man to beat in this division is Keith Thurman. Keith Thurman was once considered the best welterweight in the world. Okay. Again, Keith Thurman's issue is inactivity. Even the loss that he suffered to Manny Pacquiao was still a close fight, right? And it could have went either way. The knockdown proved to be the difference. And it wasn't a brutal knockdown. It was a mistake. Keith Thurman pulled straight back, moving backwards, and Manny Pacquiao clipped him. He underestimated his hand speed and his foot speed. Manny Pacquiao closed the distance and dropped him, making a mistake. Then he hurt him bad to the body in the 10th round. Those proved to be the difference in the fight, right? And so you put Keith Thurman in the ring with Terrence Crawford. Keith Thurman, he's a salesman. He's a spokesman. Keith Thurman is going to sell the fight with Terrence Crawford. And that fight can do at least 300 to 400,000 pay-per-view buys, right? Jaron Boots Ennis and Terrence Crawford is not going to do 400,000 pay-per-view buys. It's a big fight as far as competition-wise. Competitive-wise, I think that Jaron Boots Ennis fights and stops Keith Thurman. And I think Terrence Crawford stops Keith Thurman as well. But Keith Thurman can sell a fight. He's a draw, and he's still a wild card. There's no guarantee that he's going to lose those fights. So as far as the money Terrence Crawford looking for to be able to sell and promote the fight and make big money, Keith Thurman would be the perfect opponent for Terrence Crawford in December. In December, Keith Thurman has been waiting for this opportunity. He's a mandatory as well for the WBC. Jaron Ennis is the mandatory for the IBF. It makes sense to make Keith Thurman versus Terrence Crawford, and the fight will sell. period. I think Terrence Crawford wins, but this gives Terrence Crawford the opportunity to absolutely clean out the division. He beat Kell Brook, Sean Porter, Errol Spence, and then he beats Keith Thurman. That speaks volumes. So let's see how it unfolds. Not to mention, Keith Thurman don't mind fighting at 154. Keith Thurman will fight Terrence Crawford at 154. Jerron Boots Ennis is looking for a title at 147. So he ain't going up to 54. So let's see how it unfolds and plays out. But that's all I got for y'all. Make sure you hit the like button. Drop a comment in the comment section. Let me know what y'all think. Y'all already know what it is. It's your boy Blue, Blue Blood Sports TV. Hate, like, comment, and subscribe. You haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe button. Hit the like button. Hit the bell icon to get all the new notifications. Follow me on Instagram at Blue Blood Sports TV. All one word. I'm gone. Peace.